Lil Nas X, fruity. This boy hooked up. Yeah, it's a difference. Say them, yeah. Nah, that boy there, yeah. That's the confused. Lil Nas X got his mind made up. Yeah. He go kiss him, man. This nigga, yeah, niggas now he specifically named the trans. So yeah, he a word. Yeah, he want a woman with a dick. Yeah. I can't process it, Chud. I can't even think. My mind is going real and there with this shit.
Nah. Hey, don't be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at. Nah, go ahead, babe. Nah. Go ahead, babe. Give me that phone so I can throw it. I want to throw it far away so you never see it again. I don't like phones.
Not too long ago, Lil Nas X was on top of the world. He had the biggest record ever with Old Town Road, breaking chart records nobody thought could be touched. Then came Montero, Call Me By Your Name, where he went viral again, sliding down a stripper pole to hell in the video and trolling the church crowd at the same time. For a while, it looked like he mastered the internet game. Every stunt, every rollout, every music video had people talking. But now, that shine is starting to fade. And the latest headlines about him, they ain't about music anymore. They're about a bizarre public crash out that has people wondering if Lil Nas X is losing it, or if this was another staged move to get attention. The footage that set the internet on fire showed Lil Nas X walking outside in nothing but his underwear, looking spaced out, stumbling, and then getting into it with police. Clips showed him being cuffed to a hospital bed, allegedly after overdosing. It was wild, and instantly people started debating. Some fans said it looked like a real breakdown, the type of thing that happens when fame and pressure catched up. Others said it looked way too clean, too many camera angles, too perfect of a rollout. That's when Charleston White jumped in, accusing Lil Nas X of pulling a fake stunt just to get blogs buzzing again. Charleston didn't hold back. He said straight up that the scene looked staged. The block was empty, the camera angles were clear, and the story hit blogs too fast for it to be random. He claimed Lil Nas X's team put it together as a humiliation ritual, something the industry allegedly uses when an artist's career is cooling off. His words went viral too, because whether you like Charleston or not, he speaks the kind of raw people can't ignore. And to be fair, there's context for why people believe him. Lil Nas X's career hasn't been hitting the same since Montero. He dropped singles that barely cracked, got caught in plagiarism accusations, and the shock antics. The blood shoes, the satanic imagery, the trolling, don't go viral like they used to. Fans online have even said his label doesn't push him like before, with rumors of him staying in Airbnbs instead of mansions. For someone who was once branded as the future of pop rap, that's a major falloff. That's why the breakdown versus stunt debate matters so much. If this was real, then it's a sad sign of how the industry chews people up. Taking a young artist, branding him with a DL image, selling it as part of his career, then tossing him aside once the money slows. But if Charleston's right and it was staged, then it means Lil Nas X is playing the game the same way his label set him up in the first place, chasing shock value instead of music, even if it means humiliating himself in public. Either way, the culture sees it as a turning point. Lil Nas X went from being the internet's golden child to becoming a case study in what happens when stunts stop working. And now with Charleston White calling him out, the world is asking, was this a cry for help or a cry for clout?
Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to pay for that. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Hey, for everybody coming to the party. La, la, la. Yes, I am serving you. I am serving you. And you better be at that party tonight. Oh, yes. 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 Yes, get my good side. Every side. Yes. Boom, cat towel. Sean Bankhead taught me that one.
Charleston White is the type of dude who don't sugarcoat nothing, and when the Lil Nas X footage hit, he was one of the first to call BS. He said what a lot of people were already thinking. This wasn't no random breakdown. This was a staged humiliation ritual. According to Charleston, there's no way somebody just happens to be walking around half naked on an empty block with perfect camera angles, and then the footage magically hits blogs within minutes. He swore it looked like a setup, not a meltdown. And if you look at the clip, you see why people ran with his theory. The block Lil Nas X was on was completely empty. No pedestrians, no traffic, no chaos. Just him stumbling like he's out of his mind, with somebody clearly recording from different angles. Then within an hour, the footage was circulating everywhere. Blogs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. That kind of speed don't happen unless somebody on the inside wants it out. That's what Charleston meant when he said this felt less like a crash out and more like a publicity move. He also tied it to what he calls the industry's humiliation rituals. The idea is simple. When an artist falls off, the industry don't just let them fade away. They set them up with embarrassing viral moments to get people talking again. It might be an arrest, a public meltdown, or a viral scandal, but the goal is the same: keep the name alive, even if it's through humiliation. Charleston swears this was one of those moments, and Lil Nas X was in on it. That theory hit hard because it lines up with how Lil Nas X has been moving. Think about it. His whole career has been built on shock and trolling. He went from cowboy hats to devil worship memes, from kissing men on stage to selling shoes with blood in them. Every time the music wasn't enough, the antics carried him. But now that the antics don't go viral the same way, a stunt like this starts to look like the next level. Instead of shock on stage, it's humiliation in the streets. Fans online split into two camps. Some believe Charleston 100%, saying Lil Nas staged it because he's desperate for attention. Others said that's too dark, that this wasn't a stunt, it was a real cry for help from a young artist under insane pressure. But even those who think it was real admit the way it was filmed and released felt suspicious. And when things feel suspicious, people believe Charleston's take. What makes this even heavier is how Charleston tied it to Lil Nas X's career struggles. He said straight up that Lil Nas X's label built him up with a DL image, marketed him as the boldest, most controversial artist in the game, and then abandoned him when the numbers slowed down. That's why he believes stunts like this are necessary, because without them, Lil Nas X fades into irrelevance. Real breakdown or not, Charleston's voice made the whole situation louder. Once he called it a humiliation ritual, that theory spread across the culture like wildfire. Now, every time Lil Nas X's name comes up, people don't just ask about his music. They ask if his whole image is just one big industry setup. To understand why people think Lil Nas X might be staging stunts, you gotta look at where his career is now compared to a few years back. When Old Town Road hit, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a phenomenon. The song broke records, kids loved it, adults loved it, even country radio had to play it. Then Montero, Call Me By Your Name, dropped, and he leaned heavy into shock value. Stripper poles to hell, lap dancing the devil, blood-infused sneakers. The music was decent, but the spectacle kept him trending. For a while, that formula worked perfectly. But here's the thing, shock only works if people are still shocked. By the time his later singles dropped, the formula felt tired. The internet that once celebrated him for trolling started yawning. Songs like Sun Goes Down and Panini didn't hit the same. His later projects didn't chart like Montero, and even his most die-hard fans admitted the momentum was slipping. The same media that once praised him as groundbreaking started asking if he was a one-trick pony. Then came the plagiarism accusations. Smaller artists began claiming Lil Nas X and his team stole their ideas for visuals and songs. Instead of clapping back with undeniable hits, he looks stuck in damage control. Add in rumors of him being broke, staying in Airbnbs, not being backed by his label the way he once was, and suddenly the industry golden child narrative flipped. People started seeing him less as a star and more as someone the label cashed out on and abandoned once the numbers slowed. That's why Charleston White's comments hit so hard. If the music ain't charting and the stunts don't trend like before, then what's left? According to Charleston, the only play is humiliation. Viral breakdowns, arrests, scandals. And the footage of Lil Nas X stumbling in his underwear cuffed to a hospital bed fits that theory too perfectly. Even fans who defended him say the industry built him up with a fake image. His whole persona, the bold, unapologetic, boundary-breaking DL icon, felt less like authenticity and more like branding. And once the machine behind him stopped pushing, it exposed how fragile that image really was. Without the money, without the industry hype, Lil Nas X is just another artist fighting to stay relevant. Social media's response to his recent stunt proves it. When the clips hit, people didn't rush to defend him. Instead, they made jokes, posted memes, and questioned if he staged the whole thing. That reaction says everything. A few years ago, fans would have been panicking about his safety. Now they're clowning him for chasing clout. That's the difference between being hot and being overexposed. And that's the tragedy here. Lil Nas X wanted to be bigger than music. He wanted to be a cultural force. But the more he leaned on antics instead of artistry, the quicker the culture turned on him. Now, instead of being remembered for breaking records, he's trending for public breakdowns and humiliation rumors. When Charleston White called Lil Nas X's stunt a humiliation ritual, he tapped into a conspiracy that's been floating around hip-hop for years. The idea is simple. The industry don't just let artists fade away quietly. When a star starts losing steam, the machine manufactures some embarrassing moment to keep them in the headlines. It might be a fake arrest, a leaked tape, or a public meltdown. And once you've been humiliated, you either bounce back with sympathy and streams, or you fade into being a cautionary tale. Lil Nas X's underwear crash out fits that playbook too neatly. The way the footage was captured, the way it hit blogs instantly, the way it sparked debate instead of concern, it all looked like marketing disguised as chaos. To Charleston and a lot of fans, that's not coincidence. That's strategy. They say the industry pushed him through one more viral stunt because the music alone wasn't keeping him hot. But the other side of the debate is just as heavy. Some fans insist this wasn't staged. It was a real mental health collapse. They point out the pressure Lil Nas X has been under since Old Town Road. He went from being an anonymous Twitter meme account to the most controversial artist in the world almost overnight. Labels branded him as the fearless, unapologetic queer icon. But that branding came with massive pressure. Every rollout had to be shocking. Every music video had to be viral. Every move had to piss off somebody. For a young artist, that's a heavy mask to wear. If this meltdown was real, then it's proof the spectacle finally broke him. Either way, the damage is the same. The culture doesn't know whether to laugh, sympathize, or call him a fraud. And that's dangerous for Lil Nas X. Because once fans start questioning whether you're authentic, it's almost impossible to win them back. If they think you're staging breakdowns for clout, they'll clown you forever. If they think you're truly breaking down, they'll pity you. But they won't stream your records. Both outcomes chip away at his legacy. And that's where the conversation about humiliation rituals hits hardest. Fans have been connecting dots for years, from artists who went viral for embarrassing moments right before album drops, to stars who lost everything after one strange accident. Whether you believe in it or not, the Lil Nas X situation adds fuel to that fire. Because instead of being remembered for his record-breaking hits, he's now remembered for stumbling half-naked in the street, cuffed to a hospital bed. For Lil Nas X, the future depends on how he responds. If this was a stunt, he'll need real music and real moments to win people back. If it was a breakdown, he'll need to step away and rebuild without the gimmicks. But one thing's clear. The old formula of shock and trolling doesn't work anymore. The culture's moved on, and unless he evolves, he risks being remembered more for humiliation than for history. In the end, this whole episode says more about the industry than it does about Lil Nas X. The machine builds stars up fast, burns them out even faster, and when the spotlight fades, it throws them into chaos just to squeeze out one more headline. And Lil Nas X, he might just be the latest sacrifice in that cycle.